Hey guys, Brian and Aaron, back again in the same spot, with the same shirts on, with the same whiteboard,
Yes.
But we've got different stuff on this whiteboard. In the last video, we talked about our favorite state parks and a national park site that we actually got to stay in. Very positive video, very awesome places. We would go back to any of those places at any time for a week each, if we could. Like, they were all just, when we were making that list, we were just remembering things. It was just this fond, like, oh, that was great, let's add that one, you know. It was that kind of list. This is not that kind of list. This is 1, 2, 6. These are our 6 most disappointing places we've visited. But I want to put a disclaimer on that.
Please.
A lot of these places are really cool, and you're going to disagree with all of these?
Probably. Some of you.
I know you're going to disagree with at least like 3 or 4 of these. But they're on this list because we want to keep things real.
Yes.
Right. We travel with 3 young kids. When we left at the end of 2017, Ben was
20 months.
20 months?
Yep.
So he's just, you know, he hits the ground and he's just gone. Like, he runs everywhere. So some of these are places that were disappointing for us because we were really looking forward to going to some of these places. But with young kids,
With 3 of them.
like, I just, like...
It was too much
You'll
for us.
see.
We'll get there.
You'll get to a couple of those. And so all of these places have redeeming qualities. Most of these we will probably go back to later,
bigger kids.
Or just the 2 of us.
Yes.
So we'll get into that, but I just wanted to throw a disclaimer out there that none of these places are terrible.
Nope.
None of these places are like rat hole, awful, dangerous, sketchy places. This is just, we want to throw these out there. If you're traveling with young kids, you
Maybe
might want to think a little harder about some of these places.
And you know your kids might be amazing angels all the time.
Yeah.
Ours are not.
So, with that put out there.
Right.
Number 1 on our list is an extremely popular place to go.
We were excited to go.
We were excited to go, and it is literally in the middle of nowhere. We're talking about Four Corners, okay? It's a neat thing. It's the only place in the country, and I think in the world, where 4 like states or countries or whatever touch in one point.
Right.
But if you don't know where it is, like, really, fire up Google Maps and check it out. There is nothing around Four Corners. So we were going right by there because we were going from Durango, Colorado down to Monument Valley, and it's kind of out in that area. Now, we could have taken a more direct route between those 2, but we were like, hey, we're out there.
Let's do it.
Let's go check it out. It's the thing. You lay down, you take the picture, you know, a limb in either state, whatever. It's not worth it, guys.
No.
Like, it's not on that road. Like, you have to go out of the way on this sketchy little, like, 2-lane gravel road. You have to pay to park. You have to pay to get to the medallion thing.
Then you wait in line.
You wait in line, and everyone rushes in, and, like, people are taking
Takes their
pictures.
2-minute picture. And
or some people take 20 minutes. Like, just don't go. Like, it's just not worth it. I mean, it's a neat thing, and we got the photo, sort of, but just...
It's out of the way.
Yeah, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, it's...
Yep. So that one really has nothing to do with kids. It's just... That was, like, hyped up, and it's a neat, unique thing, but... Man, like, if it was, like, we're here in, you know, Williamsburg, Virginia, if it was, like, 20 minutes away on the other side of town, absolutely.
Yeah, totally go.
But literally
we drove
the middle
out of our way
nowhere,
to get there.
Not worth it.
Yeah.
All right, number 2.
Number 2 is Tombstone, Arizona.
Yep.
We read a lot about how excited people were about this.
We saw a lot of Instagram posts and YouTube videos and Facebook posts.
Just all of it.
People were all about it.
We were staying in Benson, and we were like, hey, let's just drive down a little bit. We'll check it out for the day. It's a tourist trap.
Yeah.
It's,
If you are really into, like, Western stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we rewatched Tombstone the night before we went there.
Love that movie.
We love Tombstone, the movie.
Right.
But, like, if you're really into the Western stuff, and, like, you go and you want to get all dressed up, and you want to see the people walking around.
Right.
Go for it.
And you just want to be there?
Yeah.
Awesome. Go and do it.
There were, I think, 3 times when we were walking down the street that some hawker on the street came out and said, "Hey, do you want to go see a reenactment of like the
The
shootout?"
OK Corral.
And we're like, "Wait a minute, there are 3 of them, like in different places.
Like, why isn't it in the place that it happened? Like,
Yeah.
I'll go see that one maybe.
Yeah,
but no, it was expensive.
I think, yeah, and all of them were a separate amount of money, and
Yeah.
it was really strange. Like, if one company or one, like the town as an entity, took over the entire Tombstone town, the entire Tombstone experience, it would be 20 times cooler.
It would be cool.
Because there
for
would
sure.
be one, like, big reenactment of the shootout on the street, not in some little back alley corner behind a restaurant thing. Like, it would just be a more interesting thing. Like, it just felt very disjointed.
Right.
Everyone at all of these little stores were trying to get you to buy a thing or an experience
there
that was
or-
different.
Yeah.
It was just, it felt like a mess, honestly.
I think we walked around for what, maybe an hour?
If that.
And you know, there wasn't a ton of stuff that was interesting to the kids, to Tara even.
Yeah. But I mean, this
yeah.
is even like, I'm not going to go back.
No, we're not
Like,
gonna go
even
back.
without kids, I have no desire to go back. So, sorry, I mean, if you guys liked Tombstone or if you were looking forward to going there, look at reviews maybe,
Yeah.
or like research it a little bit. I cannot recommend it.
No.
So,
Number 3. Now, to go back to the caveat we had at the beginning.
this is a kid one.
This is because we went with our children.
Yeah.
Brian and I would go back to this place in a heartbeat and
Yeah.
spend a week there, just enjoying
We'd have to save up for it.
everything that is there. We're talking about Santa Barbara, California.
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous, right on the water, lots of boutiques, lots of restaurants, lots of just all the kinds of things that we would enjoy if we didn't have our 3 beautiful children with us. They had resorts there. There was, it was just a really
Restaurants.
cool place.
All over the
really
water.
cool place. But everything that we looked up to kind of do with the kids, no, it was either too expensive to go with a family of 5.
Yeah.
It was, or it just wasn't really geared towards them, or like it was tours that took 5 and 6 hours,
Yeah.
and I don't want to do any tour with my children for
And
that
again,
long.
the restaurants, everyone we saw was amazing. Some of them didn't even allow children.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that there?
Yes.
Oh.
It was one of the places. Also in Monterey.
Yeah, Monterey.
Monterey, there were places in Monterey that straight up said no children.
Yeah.
There were some places in Santa Barbara that were hinting very heavily towards
No children.
And
And I understand
I
that.
wouldn't take ours either
Yeah,
because
completely understand it.
2 of our 3 children will not stay in their seats
Nope.
at restaurants. But we're talking about like ones like way out on the pier, beautiful, amazing settings. Everyone's pretty quiet because you're just having little conversation and just watching this beautiful scenery.
Right.
And our kids are there, blowing stuff up. So
We got to sit outside at one of those, and that
Yeah.
was okay.
but Santa
Still.
Barbara, beautiful, just gorgeous little town.
Sign us up. We will come.
We'll come back without kids.
We'll come back without kids. But
100%.
I wouldn't go there with your kids unless you know something we didn't.
Yeah. And now let's get to the super controversial one.
Yeah.
I have been looking forward to going to this place
Your
pretty
whole
much
life.
my entire life. I think everybody really does.
Yes.
And when you first see the Grand Canyon, like I'm getting kind of vapory right now. Like you can't comprehend the size and the beauty.
Majesty.
It is stunning. Like I literally had no words. Like I was filming and I was walking down the
Tears.
path and I'm trying not to cry right now, thinking back at it. But I was coming down the path and coming around the corner and I get my first sight of it and it's just like, wow.
Yeah.
But that was very quickly tempered
Yep.
by the fact that there are, and I firmly believe in this, no guardrails, there's no barriers, there's no nothing. Like,
Yep.
people die there all the time, and it's probably their fault
Yep.
because you're getting too close or you're trying to get a selfie or, whatever. It is a dangerous place because any of those little cliffs, there's loose rocks everywhere. If Ben had gone bouncing and jumping down there and hit a little rock, gone. Thousands of feet, gone.
Yep.
I was stressed out.
We-
I could not enjoy my time at the Grand Canyon because I was so afraid. First of all, I'm like
Definitely afraid of heights.
deathly afraid of heights. So even me, I was like, I was nowhere near that. I was like laughably far from the edge, but I was like, tiptoeing up and trying to like see down in there. I
Right.
was nowhere in danger. But running through my head the entire time was one of my children is going to slip and fall and tumble, or
I'm gonna go
Brooke
over
likes to
after.
climb railings,
Yeah.
and there are some areas where there's like lookouts and stuff where there's railings and there's signs and they're relatively safe, but Brooke wants to climb them. And then there's like places where there are little rock walls and stuff. Brooke and Ben both want to climb and
Yeah.
run along the edge of those, and I'm just like, my heart is pounding, my blood pressure is like through the roof.
Yeah.
I want to go back either when they're older and we can all enjoy it and everyone has a healthy respect for
Falling
limits and barriers.
dying.
And I would love to do like the hike down to like Uah Point or whatever that's called. And I want to explore that place because holy crap, y'all. It was just like
Awesome. Go.
incredible.
Don't take your little children.
But with little kids, it was just so like
We even tried doing
Ugh.
like the didn't we have like the leash, the wrist leash thingies? And
Yeah.
I mean, just
And
so
we did-
to kind of like
And we did some
Make him not
hiking
so
there.
free.
I had the freeloader and you had the carrier, so the two littles were both constrained, and that worked. Like we were able to explore kind of
right.
that
But
upper
we couldn't
end.
go like really far because
No.
you can't carry them for so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. And then also it's packed. Like we were there
In April.
in April. It wasn't even like super spring
Early
break
April,
time.
yeah.
And the visitor center was a madhouse.
Yes. And their junior
Took
ranger
forever
was
to get parking. And the junior ranger,
was
like if you're
so in depth.
you're trying to do it quickly, it takes like an entire day to do. And another problem we ran into is we got separated because Aaron and Tara.
No, I
or-
took Ben so the girls could finish their
Right,
junior
yeah,
ranger.
I was with the girls doing junior ranger stuff up on the edge of the rim, and Aaron went one way. I thought she went the other. There is no cell service out
None.
there, so it took us forever to get back
figure out
in.
where we were. Yeah.
So anyway, I feel really bad about having Grand Canyon on this list. I love this place. It's an incredible place. But just going with the small kids, I can't. I have to go back there. Older kids, no kids,
by yourself.
by myself. I have to go back.
But we can't.
Going there with the small kids was just like
It was very disappointing for us because we even didn't go back the second day.
right.
We
had plans
spent,
to like spend like 3 days there. We stopped on the way
in,
driving
we
on the
kind
way
of saw
down.
it, and then we
And
went back.
Yep, and we were gonna. Our plan was to go back for another day. It just
We spent half a day, and we were gone by
Yeah.
lunchtime. We were home and had
it
lunch.
was just too stressful.
Yeah.
I was afraid.
One other thing with that, the McDonald's right outside of the Grand Canyon, it's like $10 a piece for breakfast. I went in and made our order for breakfast, which normally comes out to like $20. It was like $60, and I
She
was
just
like,
walked out.
no,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
Yeah, no.
I'm not paying $60 for breakfast one and not breakfast at McDonald's.
Yeah. No.
Goodness gracious. Alrighty.
Okay, so moving on. There's another place that I've looked forward to for a long time because you see it all over TV.
Yep.
You see it all over movies. You see it in commercials. I see it all. I follow a bunch of people like the podcast and YouTube and all that live in this place and film in this place and create things in this place, and it's a beautiful place. I'm talking about San Francisco. We had a great time there. Like
yeah.
we went, and a friend of ours runs a hostel there, and she let us stay with her.
So
and
nice. Thank
it was
you.
in the middle of the city, and we had like a rooftop thing we could go out and look around and all that. But there is so much in that city that's just hard to see. The disparity of wealth in San Francisco is shocking.
Yes.
Absolutely shocking. Like you have people eating food out of trash cans and relieving themselves on the streets at the foot of a building that has multi-million-dollar condos.
Yep.
It's just
It was hard. It was hard to explain things to Tara,
Yeah,
and
some
even to
of the-
Brooke when she would ask questions.
some of the questions that they brought up. It just, how do you explain that to kids?
Yeah.
You know, it's tough. We had a great time going down to all the touristy
pier,
areas, and the boat tour out under the bridge was incredible.
Yep.
Driving across the bridge and going to like the Marin Headlands and all that, it was awesome. And going and seeing like the World War II bunkers. And
That was really cool.
it was amazing. There's some really, really, really cool stuff in San Francisco, but it's, again, it was tempered by just it was just hard to walk around. Like, it smelled really bad.
Yeah.
It was very dirty. Everything's crazy expensive, but we knew that going in.
Right.
Like, we're not kidding ourselves that one of the biggest cities in the country isn't going to be expensive.
Right.
But it just,
So maybe just doing like the parks and things in San Francisco and stay towards the Golden Gate Bridge and do the things around the Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah. I mean, I think, and because of where we were staying in the hostel, we were kind of on the edge of the financial district in Chinatown. As we went into the financial district, like where no one really lives, it's just all offices and stuff, you didn't have as much of kind of the griminess, and because there weren't really people down there after hours.
Right.
Up into Chinatown and then up into the city itself.
Where people live.
Where people live is really just, it was fun. Like, I liked going there. It was really cool to see it because, like I said, you see it all over TV and movies and commercials, and there are some very beautiful and, of course, iconic things in the city. Some really great history, really cool things to learn and things to see. But again, it was a little disappointing. It wasn't as exciting as we thought it was going to be.
Like,
I thought I would absolutely love it, and I'd want to come back, and I want to see it again. I have no interest in ever going back to San Francisco, and yeah, that's really, I'm sorry.
The next place on our list,
it's a big place.
It's like a whole region.
Yeah.
Is one of my favorite places that I have the most fondest memories of my entire life in. And it was fine with the kids. It was fine there with the kids. The kids are not the issue for that.
Yeah.
We have a very large rig behind us.
Yeah.
Home bus.
This is almost 38 feet.
Right?
And
plus
then
the
hooked
truck.
up to the truck, we're right about 61, 62 feet. Keep that in
And then
mind.
we're 12 and a half feet tall.
11 and a half.
11 and a half feet tall. Let's just go with 12.
We're too tall for this place.
And it's a little tight. New England, we love you, but we won't be bringing our rig back.
No.
It's too much for us.
If we were in a little Class C,
Yeah,
or
totally.
even motorhomes, they're tall, but they're easier to maneuver.
I have never been on the phone looking for overpasses, underpasses, bridges, little tight roads, if we can make a right turn, like just trying to figure out every little piece of our route so we don't get stuck somewhere, because we don't ever want to have that issue.
Yeah. We spent hours every night before a moving day doing, okay, we're going from here to here. We would do the whole route, almost the whole route, unless it was like highways, which we knew were okay. But we would do most of the route in like Google Street View,
so we
looking
could just
for
see
signs for like overpass heights, bridge weight limits. We can't
we even have apps that like will tell us where these places are, so we knew which routes weren't going to work.
But some of those apps, like there are places in some of these little towns, like if you're going from like random place A to random place B, not big place to big place, some of these little towns where you have super tight little 2-lane roads with these tall granite like curbs, you can't do a right turn there. Like there's just not enough room, and I'm not running 12,000 pounds of tire and rig over a granite curb.
No.
Not going to do it. And things are going to blow up.
Yeah.
So just logistically.
Yes. Gorgeous place, all the history, all the stamps for my passport book. So many family and friends live up there. Like, we will be going back to New England.
Yeah.
We love New England.
Yeah.
But we will never go back up there with our rig. And I know some of you
you're
are great
at
at
us.
it.
Yeah, you're making fun of us right now, and that's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Compared to the rest of the country, we were just like, oh, we're going from here to here. It's all highway.
Yes.
It's all desert, middle of nowhere.
Right.
There's nothing to
no
hit.
trees,
no
nothing.
issues.
Yeah.
Got up to New England. It was just like, oh my God,
It was just so much stress
logistics
for us.
and planning and just.
And even with all of that, we did have the one thing that we had to go through this neighborhood to get out of, because just all of a sudden it was like an 8-foot tall overpass. And it was like,
there were plenty of signs leading up to it. It's not like I hit something or had to turn around, but there were big signs that said, if you're over 8 feet, which is literally anything that's not a car or a truck,
right.
It said go right here, go around, go up and around the corner. We're like, okay, but
that didn't even show up on any of our apps or anything. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, so running into that stuff it adds
stress.
It adds a layer, kind of like Grand Canyon with kids. It just adds a layer of stuff we didn't want to deal with. Okay, I have an extra bonus here. This is one I'm not going to be nice about whatsoever.
Nope.
This has no disclaimer. This has no nothing. This was 100% a waste of money, a waste of time, and I'm talking about Wonderworks. Those big upside-down buildings that you see in all the tourist places? They're in all the tourist places because they're junk. They're
awful.
Absolute crap. Tara was begging to go into one, so we figured out a way to go with coupons to make it cheaper, and it was just Tara and I that went, and we were there, and she was so excited. We went in, and we were like, oh, it's cool, there's all this stuff to do. guys, it's such a waste of time. Like I kind of like in the back of my head, I knew it going in. I should have just trusted myself and not wasted the 30 or 40 bucks or whatever it was. Just don't. It's a tourist trap. It's go to a real museum, go to a real science museum, go to a real children's museum. That's what it's trying to be.
Right.
But if you've been to one and had fun, I don't believe you. Like you're just saying that because you spent money on it and you feel bad about it.
It was great. We loved it.
Don't go to Wonderworks. No. And like the Titanic museums and like you know what I'm talking about. Like if you've been through like Pigeon Forge or Myrtle Beach or any of these places, these big touristy places, Orlando, don't go to those places.
Because Tara didn't even have a good time.
Yeah. No, she didn't. Yeah, it wasn't just me mad about the amount of money I spent. Tara was like, I'm done. Like she was over it, and she was 9 at the time. That's her wheelhouse is stuff like that, and she didn't even like it.
Nope.
So, Wonderworks, don't go. Sorry, don't.
Yeah.
Let's end on that note.
There we go.
Thank you guys for watching. Let us know how wrong we are, because you've probably already typed up a comment down below. This is not going to be a good video for comments, but
we want to know them. Tell us.
Do you agree with us? Like, are we way off base? Like
Did you do something that made the Grand Canyon awesome with a 2-year-old? Let us know.
Yeah, or maybe your kids are awesome. Like we said, you know, our kids are kind of crazy and bounce all over, but we've seen much different situations.
Right.
So anyway,
tell us.
Let us know down below. Give us a like, give us a subscribe if you like us being honest. Yep. And we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Bye.